Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and we're going to spin through some hands I played last week on the 25L fast forward streets on Party Poker, and maybe, I'm not sure if some have crept in or not, from the 25L Russian Cash Street on GG Poker. Usual format, every hand's going to play through to the river and have some form of action on it, so we've got something to talk about on every street. I'm going to try and honestly assess my play in-game versus what I feel I should do out of game, because those two things don't necessarily always correlate, as I'm sure is true in your game too. So yeah, let's get stuck in. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those boring things. And again, apologies if the mic quality isn't great. And for some reason, my recording software isn't picking up my microphone and I'm too thick to fix it. So we're just doing this through my built-in laptop mic, which I'm not sure is as good as using my headset. Anyway, without further ado, let's get stuck in. We open. I went through a spell last week of 2.5xing from the small blind. I don't like it. I had a spell doing it because I'd seen somewhere that players overfold the big blind, etc., etc. And maybe that's true. Maybe it does give us a slightly better price on our steal, but I just don't like it. Didn't feel comfortable with it, and I've now stopped doing that. But in this hand, we were doing it, and I've done it there. The villain does call. We flop two pairs. I can go either way here. Check with the intention of raising, or just make a largish c-bet. I don't really care which I do, to be honest. I can't imagine the EV is going to be too different between them. With the backdoor flush draw, maybe I prefer just betting. We did bet. Villain calls. That's a pretty miserable turn card. In fact, that's an absolutely thoroughly miserable turn card. That turn card is more miserable than a wet Sunday afternoon in Skegness. And trust me, I've had been in Skegness on a wet Sunday afternoon, and it is fucking miserable. So that's how miserable that turn card is. We just check, of course. Villain now bets for 1/3 pot or whatever that is. Just call. Not happy about it. He does have Jack X in range. He has better Ace X in range, but he could also just have some bluffs for this size. Some weird merges with fucking random pocket nines and things that should always check, but don't, because people just stink and they just do things they shouldn't do all the time, myself included. So we call. River 5. We check. Villain now bets this size. And I thought this size was consistent with some Jack X, I don't know, Jack Queen, Jack 9, Jack 10, all the Jack X that they can have in their big blind flat in range. Loads of suited Jack X in there. Some Ace X too, like Ace 10, Ace 9, etc. Like some weak Ace X. And then maybe sometimes just some bluffs, like missed gut shots. Maybe some pair turning itself into a bluff. Like maybe, I don't know. That's more difficult to see, to be honest. But essentially what I'm saying is, I think this size isn't polarizing. So if he'd bet larger here, we'd just be in like a call or fold spot. If he'd bet pot or if he'd overbet, I'd probably just fold. But at least then I'd be confident there was maybe some bluffs in the range with using a larger size. When he uses this like 2/3 pot size just over, it's a little bit more merged. So therefore, in my opinion, we have some fold equity available to us. For example, if he's value betting Ace 10 here, and we just make it 36, 40, then it puts him in a real tough spot. Some players will overfold the ace there, other players will snap you off with it. But I think it's maybe, and I don't know, I could be completely wrong. And there's no point looking at this in Wizard because humans don't play like the Wizard. Maybe this hand's too strong to turn into a bluff. Maybe he doesn't fold in enough. Maybe he hasn't got enough better hands that are folding to turn this into a bluff. But I think if I remember correctly, I remember this hand, I end up check raising here, just trying to make hands like ace 9 fold, ace 8 fold, maybe even ace 10, something like that. Maybe we should just call. Well, versus this mergy size, I think there's going to be fewer bluffs in it and just more value combinations. So I don't want to call. So rather than just fold a bluff catcher, I elected to raise with it, if I remember correctly. Don't know what you guys think. I did go with raise. And sadly, villain called. And they had King Jack, which is a nice hand for them. And is that a spew from us? I don't think it is, but maybe it is. I just didn't think we could call. And in spots on rivers where you don't think you can call, and sometimes raising is a better option than folding. It wasn't on this occasion. Never mind. Ace Jack suited. Open, call, flop a big ball of nothing. We've opened early middle position, cut-offs called. This is likely to be either like a shittish reg, but are they even regs? They might play a lot, but what have you. Doesn't necessarily mean the regs. So I'm label them more as tight fish. So this is likely to be a tight fish, or maybe just a flat out whale. We don't know because we don't get the luxury of seeing what player names are and remembering any reads you may have had. So the default assumption for this playback is going to be this villain is somewhere between tight fish and whale. With 2 overs, the backdoor flush draw, again, one of those spots where I think we can go either way in the flop. I don't really like betting these low boards, but with 2 overs and backdoor flush draw, we probably can. But I'm probably expecting to see check here a lot of the time with just like a low frequency bet from me. Even though it's a low frequency bet, I would still probably use a small size. Even though if we are just doing a low frequency bet on this board, maybe we should just go larger. I do go, well, wherever that is, half pot-ish, just over. Villain calls. We turn a jack. So now we should just start like big betting for value and then only slowing down if we get raised. Not big enough edge. I'd prefer bigger here. Not like polar, but certainly up at 70% pot, which will be what, 7 blinds, 9. Well, maybe not too much bigger, but like 9.5 blinds here would have preferred. We are splitting hairs a little bit, but nevertheless, that's what I would have preferred to see. Villain now min raises. So he's now telling me he's got a set. This is now definitely a fish of some description. This is no one that's any good at poker ever does this with a value hand or with a bluff. The guy's telling me he's got a set or maybe a straight, but really 7-5 suited. Really? 5 deuce suited? Nah, it's a tough sell, brother. It's a tough sell. The sets aren't a tough sell. He can definitely have sets here, but he can also just be fucking around. Clearly, we're never folding, and I think 3-betting would be a massive punt, so we're just going to call. This is what we do, and we revert 3 of a kind jacks. We're just going to check to the aggression on the last street, although I do expect this to check back a fair amount. Quite often, players will min-raise turn in position in order to check back river. I wouldn't have contemplated leading here, though. Not after villain raises turn. We're just going to check to them. We're just going to defer to them and check. And if they were doing the min-raise turn to check back river thing, we'd just put a note on. And we'd know to consider like donking into them next time this situation occurs, which might be never. So we do check. Villain now bets a kind of mergy size. Again, so it's just not polar. Yeah, it's a big bet in terms of big blinds. It's 30 big blinds. So it's easy to look at this bet and say, oh, it's a big bet, but it isn't a big bet. It's like 60% pot. I think, given the action sequence, how it's been, we can consider raising our hand here. Would he bet, if he's got a straight, he maybe uses his size because the board's paired now, but we don't think straights are very likely. If he's got a full house, I suspect he goes bigger than this. So I think maybe we can contemplate jamming for value here. If he's got a hand like Jack 10, for example, Jack Queen, Jack King, yeah. I don't think I would find this in game very often. I think I'd just be like, oh, just call. because you're playing 4 tables, you're not thinking straight. But I think upon review, I think this is a value jam. Yeah, sometimes we get called and we lose, but I think is it too thin to be a value jam? I don't think so versus this size. I think versus this size we just jam for value and to hell with the consequences. I didn't, of course. And Villain was bluffing, so in this instance it didn't make a difference. Ace King. I've just realised I've done 2 hands in 10 minutes and there's lots of hands to get through, so we're going to try and speed up a little bit whilst hopefully not not slowing down, not giving enough information on the hand. We open here, Ace King. Big blind calls, King Den Deuce. He leads into us. He's led into us for pot. This is going to be a fish, without question. It's tempting to slow play here because blah, blah, blah. He's polar. We shouldn't raise versus polar ranges, etc. He's betting big. But he's a fish. I don't mind raise here. I don't mind call either. We do call this time. Deuce turn. Villain now bets pot again. At this point, I think raising would start to become too thin. So just call. River. One of the draws completes in the Jack Queen. The main draws, like flush draws, have missed. We're still ahead of King X, etc. And Villain pots again. At this point, we're in pure bluff catch territory. We're hoping he's got hands like Jack Queen. We're hoping he's not Jack Queen, sorry, like Ace Jack, Ace Queen clubs, etc. And remember, this player, he was a very aggressive whale. There's just not a chance of holding this hand versus this player. He could even just have like a King Queen or a King Jack. There's no way I can fold this hand to this player. Nothing else to say. Just an aggressive whale. We do call. And he showed up with the 4 deuce. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Player opens cut off. We 3-bet. I think this 3-bet should be to 8 blinds, not 7. Get called 4-bet, so it doesn't matter. Fold. And given that we're going to see on the way to the river here, I'm going to guess I'm flatting here. And I don't think I like this versus the called 4-bet. I think if this player had 4-bet, I like the flat with aces. I think when this player 4-bets, I think I just reviewed this hand with Ryan over the weekend or one of the days last week. And I think we both concluded that versus the called 4-bet, just jamming's better because he's just very, very unlikely he's folding. Whereas if he 4-bets as a opener, he likely has a few more weaker hands in range. This is just going to be a strong hand all the time. I think we should just pile. This hand shouldn't have made the video. And the King 9-3 flop, they check. We should just bet here and bet small. Don't know why I've gone that size. It's too big. We want him to have hands like Queens and Jacks in. We want him to not be able to fold them. We're giving him not an easy fold with Jacks and Queens, but yeah, I don't like this. This is the bad size to start opening. To start to reopen the betting with. When he has a range of, he's got some King X in range. He's got pocket kings. He's got Ace King, King Queen suited maybe, but he's got a lot of Jacks and Queens too. He's got a lot of not a lot because I don't believe it happens very much, but he does have some air here, like Ace 5 suited or what have you. So yeah, I don't like this size. It's too big. But he does call low. We turn the nuts. He checks, and this is where it gets weird because we bet relatively big on the flop in like the context of a 4-bet pot. So now this is just weird. We've got SPR 0.75, but we have a turn card where we're going to collect way too much fold equity. We jam here, it's just folding everything. I can get behind checking back here, actually, given we've now got the pot down to where we can just shove the river anyway. We've got the ace of diamonds, so we're not too worried about flush cards completing. I think I was playing this hand again, and I'd made the mistake of betting too big on the flop. I would check this back. What I would have further done is just bet 1/4 pot flop on this turn, bet 1/3 pot, and then shove river. So I'd have preferred that line, but I'd have preferred to be born with a bigger penis that that didn't take a lot of work to get going at the age of 50. But, you know, you don't always get what you want, do you? And I butchered the flop here, so the rest of the hand's now messed up. I ended up going small. This just looks so fucking transparent. Villain calls. River, we river a boat. Villain checks. We obviously jam. And he folds. And we maybe missed value there by just not jamming pre. And we're still on 5 minutes a hand. Need to pick up the pace a bit, Reggie. Open, call, call, call. Flop and open and straight draw. Check, check. With a diamond 2, I wouldn't hate betting here. Just bet 1/3 pot. I don't hate checking either. But the problem is if we check and this guy bets big, it's just like, meh, we're not folding, but it's a more awkward spot. So I'd think probably prefer just bet like 3 blinds or something, 3.5 blinds. Too big. Call, call, fold. Turn the nuts though, which is nice. Check. Now I just think big healthy bets. This is going to give some 2 pairs. It's going to improve some nut flush draws. There could still be some trappy sets out here. Nothing to slow play. Just bet big. Not big enough, really. If we get called in one spot here, we're not going to set up the stacks for a river shove. This should just be bigger, and don't worry about them folding. This should just have been getting up close to full pot, in my opinion. Just hoping. I mean, yeah, we get folds from Jack X, we get folds from 10X. Not really worried about that. I just want to build a big pot for when we, so we can just jam the river basically without it being an overbet. Don't like this size. We get call, call, river's a break, check, and now look, you see, we're going to have to like jam multi-way, which looks insanely strong. We're probably just going to get 2 folds here a lot of the time. And we haven't done a good job of managing this pot, basically. I do go all in, and we get 2 folds. And again, that was like a sizing thing on the turn. Flop, a little bit too big. Turn, I'm still like using a mergy sizing on the turn when I've got the nuts multi-way. Don't use mergy sizing on the nuts with the nuts multi-way. Don't do that. I did it, and it probably cost me some money. Open, 3-bet, cold call, call. 6-7-7, lead, call, raise. And raise to what size? 34 in the pot. We call, puts 40. It's like 25 to 30-ish. That's somewhere like 25, something like that. 31, whatever. Call, sorry, fold, call. Turn ace. Ace-X shouldn't be a particularly large feature of this player's range. Yeah, he can have pocket 6s. Yeah, he can have quads. 7X in range is opened, middle position. I guess, because this guy cold called and people hit folding to 3 bets, I guess he can have stuff like 7-8 suited. 6-7 suited, which is basically just one combination now. Not that much ace-X after going call, call. But it's like, how do we proceed with our kings? I can get behind checking back here. And then allowing him to like just turn pocket 9s into a bluff on the end. River Jack. I think we have a trivial call here. It just should have so little ace-X in range and so much maybe 5s, 8s, 9s, 10s all turn themselves into a bluff. 8-9 maybe. Who knows? Maybe even some random 10-9 that shouldn't be in there at all, but maybe it's a stretch to think 10-9. But basically, we just can't fold it because I just don't think he has much 7X in range. And given he called a flop raise, I don't think he has much ace-X in range. It's just a call, in my opinion, and get on with it. And he had the 7-6 suited, so good for him. Jack 10, open call. I think this should just be fold. Very likely to. Am I likely to squeeze here? I think when someone goes pot open, fish, cold call, fish, I think like 3-betting pre-flop. I just don't think we have the fold equity. And then calling. I mean, I suppose calling's okay on the button, but it's just a mess spot. We do go with call. Don't love it. Another player calls. Now we're multi-way. Check. Bet. Kind of emergy sizing. Nothing to do but call. Turn queen. And that goes 2/3 pot, which again is like, in terms of like, is it a big bet or not? No, it's not. But it's 20 big blinds in a pot that was multi-way pre, and he's barreled. So this is just representing a very strong hand, in my opinion. Or at least Villain thinks he's got a strong hand. Now, he might have a hand as weak as like fucking ace-10 offsuit here and just be overplaying it. But this is, in my opinion, representation of like quite an amount of strength. We clearly can't go anywhere because we just have too much equity, though. Do we call? We river the absolute nut card because we've hit the nuts, and it looks like we maybe have some draws if he checks and we bluff, or we bet, sorry. He now bets, again, very strange size. We're all in, and we'll unfolded, and God only knows what was going on there. King 10, open, 3-bet, not big enough. And what I'm trying to do here is just try to cheaply isolate this guy because he's gone 340. A proper 3-bet size here versus this sizing should probably be up at around 15, maybe even 16. This is me just being a cheap bastard trying to get him out and get heads up with someone who clearly thinks a whale. This might be the same guy from the last hand, actually. I seem to remember a small sequence of hands against the same player where we played quite big pots. Anyways, pretty miserable flop, but we have a very strong range advantage if this guy is a whale. I think we should just c-bet small. Don't like this very much. I get what's going on here. We're basically saying, look, I'm only c-betting hands here with like aces, kings, queens, jacks, tens, etc. That's what I'm trying to represent to a potential moron. But I just don't think we need to bet this big. Just get away with it smaller here. He did call. Turn was a queen. I suspect I'm going to continue barreling here because queen's a scare card to villain. Queen's just a good card to barrel in general here. Barrel. Call. River ace. And we should be all in. Because when you're bluffing, can you hope for a better run out? If I don't go all in here, it makes a complete mockery of my early streets. We just have to bang this river. We just have to bang it. And if he's got something he calls with, then good for him. We do go all in and he folds. So a little bit of spew there that paid off. Opening the king 6. Call from button, flopping a flush draw. Can go either way here. Bet small, check, call, check raise, depending on villain's size. If we were to bet here, it'd be like 1/3. If we were to check, if he bet 1/3 himself, I would likely raise. If he bet bigger than 1/3, I would just call. We do go with bet here, and the bet's too big. I don't like this at all. Villain calls. Turn a flush. Probably checking range here on this card. Villain bets kind of mergy size, just raise now. He calls. River jack, all in. Yep, nothing to see here, just a pretty standard hand. Villain had the nut flush. Good for him. King 10, standard open. Call from the big blind. Flop top pair, check. Again, don't mind here. Bet. Or no, if I had to do mine, just bet. I think sometimes I can just check back here and then hope to catch people probing light and then maybe get 2 streets from bluffs. I don't think that happens very much in reality. I think basically probe bets are. I remember somewhere hearing someone say somewhere sometime last year, that like I think it was on the Only Friends podcast, and I think they were suggesting that like turn probe is one of the most overbluff lines. It doesn't feel like it when I'm fucking playing. It feels like people just probe really merged on the turn, not bluffing. So I don't think there's many bluffs, but I think there's a lot of merging going on. Like if we check back here in the turns I could do, so I think 7x starts probing, 8x start probing. So I think like in order to want to like check this back to call down, we need to have hoped villainous it too, and then probes with a weaker made hand. I think just bet here's a better option. We do go with bet anyway. We get instantly min raised. Well, say instantly might not have been instant, and it's not quite a min raise, so shut the fuck up, Reg, you fat idiot. But anyway, it's just a call. Turn, pairs the 8. 8x shouldn't feature very much in his flop check, raise, small range. He now bets small again on the turn. This is just bullshit from villain. But our hand's too strong, not strong enough to raise with, in my opinion, and obviously we're too strong to fold. So we just call river a full house. Villain now bets 1/3 again. I have no idea what this is, what he's doing here. Literally no idea. I couldn't tell you what my read on the population is that takes this line. Check raise small, bet. It's going to be value, you would imagine. I mean, maybe he's even just flopped a fucking straight, and then he's lost confidence in his hand as come. Maybe he's just got 6-9 or Jack-9 or something like that. Either way, we should raise, and it's just a matter of what size should we raise. I think give it a double paired board. I don't really want to go super polar here and go all in. I think something like just like 3x here, something like that, raise up to 30, something like that would be my preferred option. 39, bit on the big side, to be honest. We'll just call though. And they did flop the straight, so we waited till we were able to get there, and then we got maybe not max value, but we got a lot of value. Open the deuces. Call. Here comes the set. Check. On this board texture, on a board that's like not really favourable for our range, quite useful for blind range. I think it's like betting big here. I don't think we get to we don't get to overbet this board in theory, but in practice, can we just be like, yeah, fuck you, mate, I have set, you, good board for your range, I just bet big. Could we overbet here? In theory, it's it'll be a red circle. But do we just say fuck all that? In fact, I think we do. It's just such a good board for villain's range. He's gonna, like, if he's any good, he's gonna like probably start doing some check raising, which maybe is a reason to bet smaller to induce some check raises. I think check raises are less likely to come versus big bets. It's a bit of a quandary. There's pros and cons for both, and it will be to do with player reads. If this plays like a passive fish, then I think big bet or over bet's good. If this plays a reg warrior, then I think just bet small's good. We end up going with this fucking really mediocre sizing. I've stopped doing this now. I think for some reason, I had 55%. I change my bet sizes every week when I play on the same site, just very subtly, like between 55 and 60 and what have you, just in case someone thinks they might have like a specific sizing telling me it's probably bullshit, but it helps keep me sane. But I really don't like this 55% size. That won't be getting used very much going forward. We do get the raise, and I think at this point, because I think villain's going to have quite a fair chunk of air in range if he's any good, because he's just attacking a board that isn't good for us. I think probably just call and set a trap. But again, villain dependent. If this was someone who I thought was like quite weak and tight, then I wouldn't slow play here. I would just fast play. We do go with the fast play this time. Villain calls. Turn 4, which 7-4 gets there, 5-3 gets there. I mean, if they've got them hands, good for them. They're going to win the rest of our money. Villain checks. What should our size be here? If I had like a hand like a flush draw that decided to fast play a flop, which I wouldn't have very often, but maybe. Like, we've got a value hand here. But so we should just be going big because we've just got a fucking value hand. And maybe we shouldn't worry about what bluffs we have in our range for particular sizes. I know theory would worry about that, but in practice, we just got a fucking big hand. Just make a fucking big bet and hope he thinks we've got diamonds. Yeah, overcomplicating things by thinking too much. Just bet big because we've got a fucking big hand, and then just hope villain has a hand he can come along with and just puts us on like some kind of draw. So just bet big, Reg. Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with that size. Villain calls. Lovely brick river. Villain checks. We're all in. Villain calls. And we got an excellent river. Pocket jacks open. 3-bet. 4-bet. Oh. I can only imagine that this was a player who no, that's not bullshit, Reg. Not that I was going to deliberately bullshit there. But my first reaction was, I can only imagine this is a player who I think is quite aggressive from the blinds. So I'm trying to trap them a little bit more, try to have some stronger hands in my calling range so I can like take more heat post flop. But the guy's using an inappropriate size, so I wouldn't have had that read on this person. Maybe I thought this guy was too weak, too nitty to 4-bet this and want to get it in. I don't know. I mean, I think this is probably fine, but when someone 3-bets to this size at the big blind, it's clearly it's a massive red flag that the guy is just a fish, or at best he's a tight player that just doesn't study, because this size just isn't used these days. Yeah, I get that it's 3x or nearly 4x, 3 and a bit x, and to this player might be like, this is a reasonable size, but big blind here in theory these days just going like 12.5, 13 bigs versus 2.5x open. So this is a very, 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 very flashing light that would up against either a legitimate fish here or just like a weak reg. If you are using these sizes from out of position, literally take 5 minutes to go and look at GTO as a play around with it pre-flop and get your pre-flop sizing right versus 3-bets. It's the easiest thing to fix in the world, and you should make it a priority. Anyways, we get this flop, which is miserable. Villain checks. We're just going to check back here. Do not want to be reopening the betting. Turn 6. Villain checks. Just check again, Reg. Again, no reason to reopen the betting. 3. Villain now bets. And given that I know the size of these pots, I'm imagining, well, I'm clearly going to turn my jacks into a bluff here. I remember the hand now. This was me. When he uses his size on the river, I'd pretty much convinced myself that he had kings and queens here exclusively, or almost exclusively. I don't expect someone with this profile to check ace-x 2 streets. 1 street, maybe, being tricky. 2 streets on a double flush draw board, not a chance, in my opinion. And, like, do they have any 4x in range? No. Or you wouldn't imagine they do. Maybe they have, like, ace-4 diamonds, ace-4 spades, but unlikely given how we profiled them pre-flop. I think against this profile, in this formation, I don't think we have a hand strong enough to bluff catch. Therefore, we can contemplate raising. And I think this guy just has a bunch of like tens, maybe the other pair of jacks, queens and kings in range that we can put in a tough spot. So I like raise. Don't like this size though. Villain calls. And they had exactly queen. So we read the hand perfectly. We just didn't get the memo that villain wasn't about to fold. King, queen off. Open, 3-bet. I should just fold here. Middle position, opening king, queen off. Small blind 3-bet, should just fold. Should be nothing else to be said. I don't care if theory calls here. I haven't ran it. I haven't looked at it. I'm not going to. Against population, king, queen off. Middle position versus small blind, just fucking pure fold. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a fold in theory too. This is bad from me. This is bad. I don't even care who the villain was. I don't care what reads I had. This is just bad. Anyway, we flop top pair, and I hope I get punished for it. Call. Nothing to say. I mean, this is just fucking big hand all day, this. Double flush draw board. So, feasibly he could have, like, flush draws in clubs and spades, etc. call. This is just bad for me. It's just flat out bad. He jams. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, it's just fucking terrible. We're going to call off in a population that this isn't a bluff hardly ever. Once in a blue moon, he'll turn up with like the ace-4 of clubs, and I'll be like, fucking yeah, get in there, well done. This is shit from jump, and this is like the bad call pre-flop has just led to this. I deserve to lose a stack here. If I call, I deserve to lose a stack. You call, and we'll into the set of 5, so, you know, fair enough. This is unusual that someone's going to show you pocket 5s here, 3-betting versus this position. So this guy clearly wasn't a reg, because regs just wouldn't do this. Regs would probably just fold the 5, some would flat. So maybe this was against like some aggro dude who I just decided not to fold against. So maybe in game I had some justification for it. But nevertheless, regs just fucking fold pre. Unless the guy was like a serious, serious whale. And those guys are few and far between in the party poker pool. Anyway, here we get a limp. We're going to ISO, I would imagine. Prefer to see myself go 5x, but we went 4. Willen calls. Check, just check back reg. Turn 6, lead, just call reg. River, the flush, bet. So what do we do against big bet here with the 3rd nuts? And I know because we're playing pots of a particular size here that I raise. Because this pot wouldn't make it. If I just call here, this pot wouldn't make it in. Because it wouldn't be big enough. So I know I'm going to raise here. But what do we think about raise versus big bet in this line? The guy's limp called pre. He's checked the flop. He's led the turn small. He's big bet the river. So against this particular profile in this formation, what are we thinking? It's underbluffed for certain. So is it too thin to raise the value? I suspect maybe it is. I suspect maybe it is too thin to raise for value versus this size. If we'd gone half pot or smaller, raise all day versus this size, I think we should just call. I did go with raise though, sadly. Willen does this. And now we're getting like ridiculous odds. But we're dead. We're just fucking dead, aren't we? Unless he has on like 8-9 of hearts. 4-5 of hearts. But does that 3-bet? No, probably not. Just calls. Yeah, we're dead. I'm not good enough to fold this in-game. It's just when I got 4 tables going, a river to flush, I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, whatever, call. That would be my thought. That would literally be my thought process. But this is just a fold. Just not a bluff, ever. And we don't beat value. Or we don't beat very much value. We did call. And of course he had the nuts. King, Jack suited, open, call, check, obviously, bet, easy call, check, bets on the mergey side again. It's getting slightly bigger. It's kind of like this. Our class is like merge, but top of merge range when they go a bit bigger. And if it's a bit smaller, like merge, but like middle of merge range, etc. I think we can start thinking about folding this hand here. On this board, I don't know how many rivers are we going to like. How often are we going to be able to call down versus a triple barrel? I don't mind just like starting to fold this hand. We call low. Check. Now he bets real small. And we already know that we're raising here because we know this pot doesn't make it in otherwise. And I think I like raise again here. I don't think flushes ever use his size. I don't think straights ever use his size. This looks like a cheap bluff attempt, which we can obviously call and win against. Or maybe a queen reopening for small when it shouldn't. That's what it looks like to me. And I want to punish. I want to punish this bet size. Can we just call and win? Probably. Should we just call? I just remember the second or third time this video we've turned a calling hand into a bluff. It hasn't worked too well so far. Yeah, it's the third time we've turned a calling hand into a bluff. and it's the third time it probably hasn't worked. The guy just bet a flush on the river for small, which he shouldn't have done. But never mind. If he'd have played his hand fucking properly, we'd have lost less. But never mind. Queen Jack, open, call, donk. Okay. Raise or call, don't really care. It would be really dependent on the player. We do call this time. Turn 4. Just call again, I imagine. We're going with raise here, and I don't think I like this. Like, we're blocking the draws that we can maybe try and make fold if we had a different hand, if that makes sense. I just don't think we need to raise here. If he's donking a king, he's just not fucking folding. Don't think he has much 4x. Just call raise. Just take your fucking pot odds, and if you want to get a fancy, do it on the river. If we re up the betting here, if he's like 3 bets, we're just like, would put us in a shit spot. Really shit spot. I'll explain that these hands, these are all done chronologically. I'll explain at the end of the video why my play dropped off during the middle of the week or towards the end of the week. Because this is me just playing badly now. Check, and we're obviously going to bluff the river. And I think we should go more polar than that. We've raised the turn, then we've like merged size river. If we're betting this river, we should just go polar. I don't like it, it's dog shit. Really like king 8 offsuit, whatever. Yeah, it probably wasn't fun no matter what, but when we raised the turn, we then just fucking bet the river, but we use a shit size. Fucking awful, Reg. Awful. Your sizing has to make sense. Your sizing's really important in terms of like the hands that you're trying to represent from your range, etc. It's really important, and that was bad from me. Open, call from small, flop the nuts, donk, which is fucking ridiculous from the small blind. This guy's obviously a fish. We should probably start fast playing right now versus a donk here. Just a small raise, just punish him for this donk. Ace X isn't folding. Queen X probably doesn't exist very much. He shouldn't really have flushes. It still just looks like it's a fish with an ace donking to protect his hand. We should just raise now. I didn't know. He checks. We should bet. He calls. He checks. We should just bet really big here. Really big, like pot size bet, what have you. Slight over bet. I like it. Call. Yeah. I mean, I said yeah like it was standard. Demanding 3-bet ace king from the small blind, so it's not standard. And then he donked the ace high flop. That guy is a fish. If that was you and you're watching this, you are a fucking whopper. Min raise from a small blind. 3 bets, calls. Try flop, c-bet small. Call. Turn equity. Probably size up a little bit here. Like half pot, 2/3 pot, something like that. Call. River deuce. Check. Probably can't show this hand down. Probably like, in terms of how often it wins at showdowns, probably like almost never. Yeah, but we beat some king jacks of the world. We beat some jack 9s of the world. That maybe play this way, like with backdoor flush draws and stuff. I haven't been doing a lot of giving up lately. We end up going with bet, villain calls, and that was ambitious. That was ambitious. Squeeze. Although I suspect we can, in these games, in this environment, we can probably call there too. Call fold. Flop nothing. Probably still betting though. Just what size? Yeah. Can't think of a size that would make sense here. It's a slightly bloated pot because of the cold call. Like just 1/3. I don't really want to just go 1/3. I think we just like probably still get overfold. So even though I think his range is going to be pretty condensed here, 2 pocket pairs and like suited broadways, etc. But maybe we just get auto folds on some of them, which is nice. If he's just got king queen of clubs here, even though we're ahead of it, it's just nice to have him fold it. Jack 10 clubs, etc. Maybe just bet 1/3 and just attack his auto folds. Too small, I think. Call. And just give up now. Literally just give up now, Rich. Yeah, this is not good for me. This is me just trying too hard to win pots. It's just such a clean give up hand. Yeah, this is not good. I mean, at this point where you're saying, yeah, mate, I've got pocket aces fold range. I'm just trying to get this guy to fold his entire range here that isn't a flush or like a set. This is just bad. And again, I'll explain this at the end. Because I do have an explanation. It's fucking shit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to excuse what I'm doing. I'm just going to explain what I'm doing. And Willen made a pretty ambitious call. Yeah, that's this is a play called, I think it's got like a Portuguese, like Jai Quidero or something. I think he's like a half decent or one of the better eggs in the 25 fast forward pool. But I think this call down's ambitious versus population. It definitely is. 3-bet this. Don't know if I like it or not. It's in theory it's fine. In practice versus someone 3xing. Yeah, we're just trying to isolate him. I get that. He's not reloading. He's clearly a recreational player, fish, whatever. Don't hate it, but I think we can also just get away with calling because squeezing just doesn't happen much in these games. So I don't think this is a mandatory 3-bet. He calls. Flop the absolute world on a stick. He checks. Check back or bet here. Don't mind if we check back and he raises. We're just all in. But I think probably favour check back because we don't want to get all in here. We're willing to, but we don't really want to. I do go Reg. What? This is yeah. I'm glad these hands are coming up because it's just fucking terrible from me. It's just fucking terrible. This is absolute nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense. And they deserve to be punished. I mean, we just turned the fucking joint, so happy days for us. Check. Fuck off, Reg. Just fuck off. I mean, I knew I played bad, like, during the middle part of my grind this week, but fucking hell. I didn't think it was this fucking bad. I knew I played badly. My graph demonstrates I played badly. My irritation at myself demonstrated I played badly, but fucking Jesus wept. Didn't think I played this bad. Fuck off, Reg. And that obviously is just a call, but whatever. But fuck me, my sizing scheme there was fucking atrocious. Yeah, good for building out quads. I deserve to be punished. Open call. Up 2 pairs. Bet, I guess. Fuck off, Reg. Raise now. Call. Barrel turn. Yep. Call. Bet fold river. Bet call river. So the guy's saying he's got Jack Queen. That slow play does. Does he raise sets on the river? Maybe. I mean, it's bricked out. I wouldn't be surprised if we had like a hand like pocket 9s here. I mean, we're not folding, I don't think, but this just isn't going to be a bluff very often whatsoever. And maybe like ace, queen, ace, jack. Yeah, there's not many bluffs out there, is there? Call. And he just flopped the nuts. Good for him. Four bet this hand. I don't like calling the ace queen off out of position. Maybe theory does it. I don't like doing it. I prefer to 4-bet. And it's just pure. Just there's no one I don't 4-bet this against. Flop nothing, but good board for range. Just bet small. Call. And now just barrel off, I guess. Yeah, and just jam river. River folds. That's okay. 2 queens. Squeeze here. 15 bigs or so. 13. Too small, reg. Too small. Call. Shitty flop, but probably range bet. Call. Start showing down. And I think probably we should probably just block river. Like 5 bigs. 10 bigs. Nah. Now villain polarizes. If we just block river, just block fold river edge. Now you're going to level yourself into calling. Because, we might have 10-9, he might have whatever, loads of misdraws. He might just randomly turn fucking nines into a bluff. It's all the bullshit that goes through your head when you're about to make a call that you know is going to lose. Yeah, I mean, that is what it is, but should just block fold the river there. That's the problem with that line there, was not blocking the river. Getting calls from like pocket jacks, pocket nines, pocket jack, whatever. Basically, whatever the unimproved over like pairs were. I think calling here is fine when the button's called. Of course, we're going to flop a set. Why else would it be in? Check, check, check. Probe turn large. Fold. Raise. I think against this line, it's just always going to bet the river, so just call and check river. The rivers are always being bet, or nearly always. There's like, because I imagine, if I had to guess how often this line is betting river, I'd imagine it's like in excess of 75%. So we just go for the check raise on the river. Check. Bet. All in. You what, Reg? Fuck off, Reg. Fuck off, Reg. Yeah, just fuck off, Reg. Shut up, Reg. Fucking prick. Raise. Call. Check. Check back or stab, don't really care. Let's check back this time. Turn bet. I think just call here, then bluff raise river. It's quite nice. It's the villain's going for like a mergy size here. Yeah, they will have some flushes in range, but they'll have like some king X in range. They'll have some bluffs themselves. Nut flush draw. Sorry, nut flush blocker. Just we can't call here. So I think it's just like a pretty standard raise. Calls. Ace king, nice answer. Ace queen off. Open, call, 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 fold. Check. Don't like this. Don't like this. Definitely check now. Now bet. We get raised by this guy. And as player, there's no way we can fold. We just call him, pay the man his money. And he had the 8-6 offsuit. It's king suited, open 3-bet, call. Yeah, I don't mind this bet size. I wouldn't mind it small either. In fact, I would have preferred range bet here. Yeah, in fact, I'm taking this back. I do mind this bet size. I mind it quite a lot. I think just bet small. Doesn't matter, villain calls anyway. I mean, as played now with big bet flop, It's not weird because again, I would have preferred like bet small, size up slightly, turn shove river as my line here. Now we've got like a weird SPR that I'm not used to. I think just you better size it leaves half pot for river. So what would that be? 20 big, something like that. Just over. Leave a half pot river shove. Oh, Reg. Oh, Reg. And I just jam on whatever. So we got max value there because he went call fold versus big sizes, but Reg. Fucking shit, Reg City. I don't know if I just had my hand over my microphone. If I did, I apologise. Open, 3-bet, call, fold, small bet, raise, just call, check, bet, just call, check back. Do we lead that river? No. The guy's raised from bet turn, we just check. Nothing else to see. Villain had a bluff. How many more fucking hands are there to go? Let me just double check. Fuck me, there's still fucking 5 to go after this and we're up to the hour. Right, okay. Start speed running them. King 6. Just fold this hand, Reg. I think. It's multi. No, I don't think. I mean, it's not good because of multi-way. We're going to have problems realising our equity, but we are going to be in like second position. Yeah. My instinct is, I just call this because I just, I'm a bad player. My instinct is call. Sorry, my instinct is fold, but my autopilot is call. I just don't think it's a very good hand. Multi-way. Yeah, it's nice when we make a flush, blah, 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 high-low flush draws, etc. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I guess we're going to make a flush at some point. Check, bet, fold. To me, this is very, very mergy. We don't beat very much of value here. And it doesn't look like a size plus would make. But I mean, we're not folding, obviously. Okay, we're not going to make a flush. Check. Again, just half pot. We're just getting milked here. This is just fucking rubber. I have played so fucking bad this week. Call. Check. Oh, we're not going to raise again, are we? We are. For the 4th time, we are going to turn a made hand into a bluff. And for the 4th time, it probably isn't going to work. Again, I don't fucking hate this one. This is just like, it's gone merge, like super merge. It just isn't a sort of size a 7 would make. We can have plenty of 7x in our range. Yeah, again, I don't hate this play. I really don't hate it. But I snapped it off anyway with jacks, which, in my opinion, is a fucking horrendous call versus this line. If he's always calling this versus this line from population, he's going to get fucking annihilated. That is such a. I have like loads of 7x pocket 6s, pocket 9s, straights. I have 10-8 suited. I have 5-8 suited, probably. Yeah, this is such a fucking awful call. And this isn't me being salty. I don't do that. This is such a fucking awful call. I think I'm entitled to expect this to work against this hand at a high frequency. Yeah. I mean, I think my turn call is bad versus the size we got shown. I just think it's way under bluffed. So I think that's bad from me, but I really like my river line, and I think we can consider ourselves unfortunate to get looked up by this hand. Next hand is Jack, open, min 3-bet, call. I prefer 4-bet bluff to call here. We did 4-bet bluff, we got called. We didn't flop anything, but we're just going to range bet, I would imagine. Too big, but not by too much. 12 would have been fine, 10 would have been fine. Villain calls. Now we're just stacking off, aren't we? Bet. Call. And jam. Call. And villain had pocket kings. Pocket tens, open, 3-bet. Cold call again. Cold call. Flop a set. Probably check range here. I don't mind checking range here when we've been called and called. When we didn't, we went with bet. Call and fold. Just keep betting, Rich. We want to try and leave. If we bet like 24 here, leaving 60 behind and he calls, that puts 108 in the pot. Yeah, something like that. 286, fine, whatever. Call, and then just shove river. The calls, villain had ace 10. Cooled him. Cooled him right off, even though he shouldn't call pre. Open, 3-bet. Call. Bet small. I'm doing these hand put bets a lot. I don't hate them, but maybe this merits it more because our hand could use a bit of protection. We want to discourage floats. We don't mind if like ace-high floats, etc., because we're value betting against it. We want to discourage floats, I guess, a little bit. Anyway, we bet, get called, turn 7, just keep betting. And jam river. That one couldn't be simpler. Jack 10, open, just fold pre-reg. Didn't, a 3-bet. This is too marginal against, in a population where people aren't hitting correct frequencies from most stream. Most players aren't. Some do, but most don't. Most are not hitting like 28% cut-off open. So if they're not, then we just start overfolding against it, especially out of position. Anyways, we make our hand, we c-bet, we get called. Check turn. Maybe I just thought it was too thin to bet 3 streets, and it probably is. But now we're starting playing bluff catcher against a population that just isn't going to bluff at a too high a frequency here. And he bets, it's a mergy size, but it's big. We call, check. He goes all in. We're just not going to fold. I already know I'm not. Top pair in a 3-bet pot. I think bluffs here are few and far between. Don't think people value bet worse. I think we should probably just not be in the hand pre, but it's been a bad week at the office, and we're going to call. And this time, villain randomly had 8-7 off. Open, call, call. Flop set. Check. I think checking range is the standard default play here with top set, blocking calls, etc. But we're up against 2 whales who don't have full stack, so just fucking bet your hand, Reg. Call, call. Just bet big, Reg. Not big enough, but whatever. Fold, call. Donk, call. Random ace 2. And that is the last hand. We're going to jump into Hold'em Manager now to show the graph because it records rate back, and as far as I can tell, Poker Tracker doesn't record rate back. So there we are for the week. We say it's been a bad day at the office, but it hasn't been really. We've made just over $400, including rate back, which is obviously at 25 pretty fucking decent. Red line wasn't a sort of disaster, but I did say earlier about why I started playing badly. I made 2 mistakes. And I think it was Wednesday. It might have been Thursday. I was really happy with how things were going. So I got greedy and I decided to add a 5th table on Party Poker. And that made me play worse, as you saw. And then also made my red line start to tank. And I quickly stopped 5-tabling. But then when red line tanked, I'm like, oh, Reg, that's displaying too many passive leaks. So then I became too aggressive. And then just put myself in a few shit spots. And then I just had a hangover for the rest of the week. It just wasn't great. We had like this downswing here where I just played badly. You will have seen these hands in the video. I just played badly. Then we recovered, and then I think this is mostly yesterday, bit of Saturday night and yesterday. We recovered and finished strong for the week. So it wasn't a bad week at the office, but we had a bad spell, and it was just through greed at first. We had in 5 tables, and then worrying about stuff that doesn't fucking matter. Redline doesn't. It matters a little bit because it's an indication of like how well you're playing, in my opinion. If your red line does just tank like mine has done it historically, it just indicates that you've got probably more than one passive leak. It indicates that you're probably not aggressive enough, and you're certainly not getting enough folds, both with your bluffs and with your value bets. So it's an indication that there's things to work on in your game, but it's not the be all and end all. The green line's what really matters, and my green line is historically very good. So I probably shouldn't have a look at red line and green line, but I look at it a bit more lately because I'm aware of like I'm trying to do more MDA stuff, which should theoretically lead to a better red line. I'm just like always looking at it to see if I am seeing any overall improvement in it, and we are, because here we've lost like $300 red line over 20,000 hands. My benchmark for red line used to be if you're losing red line at 10 bigs 100, don't worry about it. But if we'd lost at 10 bigs 100 red line over this sample, would have been like minus 500 red line. So we're only losing around 6 bigs 100 red line here, I think, if my ready quick math is correct. So things are definitely getting better for me. I'm playing really well at the minute, generally, even though that video was a lot of shit hands in there. I'm not going to fucking make a video every week or a couple of videos a week charting my play and then hide the shit stuff. Fucking, it's not what I'm about. It's what's the point of fucking doing if you're going to do that? So you've seen a lot of this shit this week. You've seen at the end, fine, we played shit, but we still got away with it. The reason I was playing on GG, I started playing there yesterday, is twofold. Number one, well, there's a few reasons. Let's talk through them. Fuck it, the video's going to be too long. Who cares? Firstly, I'm starting to get just little inklings of wanting to see how I think I can do at 50-0 at speed poker, which is bonkers given how much I've historically said speed poker is shit. And this is a reason for this. If we look at this from the 29th of January, which is when I started. What are we doing here? No, cancel that register, start again. When I started doing the MDA stuff, it was 29th of January. So we look at my graph from the 29th of January onwards. Sorry for doing this like a fucking boomer. 29th of January. It's just gone really well. Look how much money I've made. We've made over $2,000 at 25-0 in 40 days. It's gone phenomenally well. But my problem is my 50-0 options are very limited. I'm not on PokerStars. I self-excluded there 5 years ago because I hated speed poker. I wanted to be away from it. And now, ironically, we're here talking about speed poker again. But I'm not on. I can't get back on PokerStars until August, and that's if they let me back on at all. Might be no, you self-excluded, mate. You're banned for life. Don't know. Don't really care. But there's no 50 that just doesn't exist on party poker at speed poker. 888, it exists, but it's very hit or miss. So if I do want to think about moving up, and I'm not ready yet, I want a bigger sample with more, even though it's been nearly 100,000 hands. I just want to be more confident. I haven't played much in the GG pool, but I'm harbouring thoughts of moving up to 50-0 at some point. And the only place I can play 50-0 at volume is going to be GG. So we're going to have a week at 25-0 on GG, and we're going to see how we do. So yeah, that's the goal at the minute. It's not even a goal. Just grind GG hard, get the volume in. If we keep winning there, at some point consider taking a little 50-0 shot, but not in the imminent future, but maybe in a few weeks or what have you. I think that's about done. It's Cheltenham week. Really looking forward to it. I'm off to Cheltenham tomorrow. Well, I'm off to Cheltenham tonight. We're driving down tonight to Wolverhampton. We're staying overnight in Wolverhampton and then continue our journey tomorrow morning to Cheltenham. Massively looking forward to it. Cheltenham is like my Christmas. If I had a choice of cancelling Christmas for life or Cheltenham for life, it would just be fucking Christmas. It's a bit sad, Constitution Hill, for the horse racing fans who will know who that horse is, has been declared an on-runner. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. But we're in the nice part of the course. We get to go in the paddock, see all these really fine, fantastic jump horses up close and in the flesh. Get to go in the winners' enclosure. I think we do anyway. Not in the winners' enclosure, but like the outside around it. I'm just massively looking forward to it. It's a bucket list thing for me, and I'm doing it tomorrow. Fucking gonna love doing it. So my volume won't be as good this week, I don't think, because I'll be watching Cheltenham when I could be grinding. So I'm probably going to miss out on 5 or 6 hours, possibly, of grind. Also, my volume is being affected by the app game I'm in, but I'm winning so much money in that game, that's fine. Like my hours are going to be down this month in terms of hours that I record on tracking software, but I'm regularly putting like 20 hours plus a week into the app game. So again, I'm not going to worry too much about that. But anyway, I've wibbled on way too long. Good luck, everyone, if you're playing at Cheltenham this week. Please leave any strong fantasy you've got in the comments below. And yeah, I'm off to chat with a friend a little bit about poker. And then, yeah, I'm going to have a chilled day before I go to Cheltenham. Have a great week, everyone. Might be back later in the week with another video because I'm off work all week. So there's every chance we can do some Wednesday, Thursday and Friday videos, depending on how much volume I put in and how much interesting hands there are. But it's very likely not to be the last video this week. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye for now.